Welcome, everybody, back to another BOLDcast reaction. I'm Carson.
I'm Lindsay.
And this is HOTD, House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 1. Super hyped up for this. A couple things to get out of the way first. Got a lot of flack for a lot of our reviews and reactions last time. If you guys are just seeing it for the first time, just disregard this. We weren't in a great place in our life when the first season came out, just kind of coincided with not a great time. That's why, you know, I was extra harsh on Viserys in the first season when he was actually my favorite character. I'd like to apologize for that. If anybody has sour feelings on those reactions, it was not our best work, and you know, we have personal reasons for that. That's in the past. We're very excited to see what happens this season. A lot of people are saying that it's like that this season was mostly just build up for this season and it's going to be insane. We're very excited for it. We're also very excited because we're about 500 subscribers away from me shaving my head on a live stream. Yes, when I hit 100,000 subscribers, or when we hit 100,000 subscribers, Lindsay will shave my head. When I claim my title. No, when BOLDcast hits 100,000 subscribers, Lindsay will be shaving my head on a live stream that will be posted to this channel. So if you guys want to help us get there, please leave a like on the video, but more importantly, subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be posting these reactions to House of the Dragon every night, the night that they come out every week. We got a lot of good stuff planned. We hope you guys enjoy our reaction and review, which hopefully will be a lot better than our reactions and reviews of the first season.
I hope so.
Are you?
If they are, I'm sorry. I don't know what to
If they're
tell
better?
you. No, if they're not,
as good.
if they're still bad.
We can't promise anything. Let's check it out. Check it Patreon if you want to see uncut reaction to all these episodes and all the other shows that we do on the channel. Patreon.com/BOLDcast. That's linked in the description. Get all the uncuts. You get ahead on our One Piece channel, which we have a separate channel just for One Piece. So we post all the reactions, all the uncuts on the same Patreon. Anyway, that's it. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see me bald. Hope you guys enjoy this reaction. Let's go. Big recap. Powerful recap. You're goddamn right.
Truest thing ever said. I am glad they're doing such a heavy recap.
Thorough, yeah.
Because we did rewatch the last episode of the previous season recently. But it's good to get like a
Complete.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see this part.
It's so too sad.
What, Winterfell or just
This.
The greens are coming for you, Rhaenyra.
banger? Ooh, new.
Ooh.
A tapestry? Ooh.
That's really cool.
I love this as an idea because there's way more opportunity for color. That's what the coolest thing was about the map in the other show. Ooh, this looks sick. And like the last one was really good in it. It was a good visual representation, but it was all red and gray. So this is actually really creative and cool. And we are not book readers, by the way. We don't know what's gonna happen in the future.
This is so cool. I love it with like the embroidery as well, because it's like in like medieval times how like you would tell a story by like, you know, embroidering stuff.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Oh. I need to rewatch this to see who all the different characters. I wasn't paying. I thought it was just the characters in the show, but I think that there was other stuff that was maybe other historical figures, but I'm not sure. That's cool. Oh, all the house standards on the sides. That's cool. That's sick.
That was very, very creative. I really like that.
I like that a lot. It kind of reminds me. I mean, it reminds me of the other Game of Thrones ones, but it reminds me kind of the Shogun intro a little bit, with like the way it was all wavy. The Stark theme. The crow. We're gonna see it. Is this where Stannis died? Oh no, not quite.
Duty is sacrifice. It
Sounds like a
eclipses
novel.
all things, even blood.
Oh shit.
All men of honor must pay its price. The North owes a great duty to the Seven Kingdoms.
I love that it's the
One
same.
older than since the days of the first men, we have stood as guardians against the cold and the dark. But my ancestor, Thorin Stark, began a tradition by making an offering at the onset of winter. 1 in 10 men from our household was to be chosen to fortify the watch.
Whoa.
It'd be pretty brutal. You have to go there just based on a rock.
Sentence.
That's crazy.
Must. Winter is coming.
Those always freak me out, those elevators.
What is this then? Falls from the and all memories of warmth will be forgotten.
Oh, he's got ice. He's got the sword.
But over a century ago, our ancestors treated in this very place. The conqueror and the king in the north.
You, at least, had the mercy not to threaten me with your dragon.
You were very courteous. It was not necessary.
If men do not remember the oath sworn to King Viserys and to his rightful heir.
Starks do not forget their oaths.
The North remembers.
That my gaze is forever torn between north and south. My duty to the wall is even more dire than the one I owe to King's Landing.
Whilst your men guard against wildlings and weather, the High Towers plan to usurp the throne. War is coming to the whole of the realm, my lord. We cannot wage it without the support of the North.
My father brought King Jaehaerys and Queen Alicent to see the wall. His grace stood at this very outlook and watched as their dragons, the greatest power in the world, refused to cross it.
That's
Jesus.
crazy.
This has built a 700-foot wall of ice to keep out snow and savages.
What does it keep out?
Death.
That was pretty
That
hardcore.
was sick. I wonder if that was in the book.
If your greybeards can fight, the Queen will have them.
They will fight hard, like Northerners.
Jesus. I believe him.
Yeah, this guy really means business.
And I like that he's young. I like that
Yeah.
they're both young. Isn't that, like, it's a good detail, I think. Like, they said that, but I mean, like, the actors and the characters look. Oh, his brother. Ouch. Oh, Melee's. Looks different. Or am I crazy?
We're going to King's Landing,
To what end?
killing Vhagar. I cannot face that hoary old bitch alone.
What?
With my dragon and yours together, we can kill
Just
Vhagar
right
alone.
now? That's hardcore.
Was this the Queen's
The
command?
Queen remains absent. I should be at Harrenhal.
She is grieving.
The mother grieves as the Queen shirks her duties.
Wow.
It was a raven that brought me news of Lena's death. I existed for weeks in torment, refusing to believe what I'd been told. It was only when I saw my daughter's mortal remains that I could begin to mourn her.
What if Aemond were to happen upon her?
Then I would pity Aemond. She was wise to recuse herself. She's not acted on the...
If you'd have acted when you had the chance, Aegon's line would be extinguished. And Luke would be alive.
I mean, he makes a strong point.
Fly with me. It is a command.
Would that you were the king.
Yeah, Rhaenyra hasn't appointed a hand yet, has she? And it wouldn't be him, because he's the consort, I suppose. Is that Storm's End? Is this the Stepstone? Where are we? Are we still with her, or what's going on here? Barnacles. Oh, Driftmark maybe? Probably.
My lord. It's a marvel she was able to return from the Stepstones at all. I must have my ship back at sea to lead the
So
effort.
messed up.
Many weeks yet, and Wedger. But I'll have a word with my brother to see what reinforcements the shipwrights can muster.
What is this?
Smithy delivered this earlier.
Is that Damon's dagger?
I had this commission for Prince Viserys.
Oh.
I was very sorry to hear about your heir's death. It was the blackest of treacheries. Pardon, Lord. If it will please you, much to do.
They tell me that you're the one that dragged my body out of the sea.
It was only my duty.
I am indebted to you, Alan.
Alan. I need a notepad or something. That was an interesting scene. Oh, shit. Could you imagine if Rhaenyra just pulls up? Or is it going to be Daemon?
Yeah, I don't think it would be her pulling up.
She might. Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, you can tell by the holes in the wings.
Yeah.
Old girl.
It's amazing how it can even still fly with like 50% wing.
I mean, there's still lift, right? The idea is it's not, doesn't need to be perfect, I guess.
Where is your Harris?
Attending his lessons. What do you need of him?
Taken into the small council. He'll be king one day. He must begin his instruction.
Like
if he does not want to be king.
Where is he?
The library. You must not interrupt his custom.
He'll be king one day.
I'm afraid.
Don't be. They'd be fools to come with Vhagar protecting the city.
Not the dragons. The rats.
Larys strong, or so the theory goes.
The Queen is an enduring mystery. Is she not?
Sure. Sure, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, go fight children in a pit again and call people mystery. I'm sorry. What? Oh, it's Kristen Cole. I thought it was gonna go to Larys. Unless it is Larys. No, it is Kristen Cole. Okay. So it's like that, is it? Interesting.
We cannot. Again.
Likely.
Yes, Your Grace.
I mean, as far as I was aware, this was the first time. First time we've seen, I thought. Am I forgetting something?
Yeah.
I didn't think they had that kind of relationship, but maybe I was just fucking dumb.
I'm pretty sure. I can't 100% remember, but I'm pretty sure that was like a thing.
Okay. Yeah, like we said earlier, we only rewatched the first or the last episode, so maybe I'm just forgetting something that happened 2 years ago. The rats. Oh boy.
Yeah.
This.
Like, yeah, well, you might not be king for very long.
Continue to go unanswered. Should be hours after Prince Aemon's marriage pact to the Lady Floris bereft. Their sworn declaration.
My brother is raising the strength of the West to match the Golden Tooth, but we... Yeah, thank you, my prince, that's very helpful.
My nephew Lord Orange musters his forces to sally forth from Old Town.
The war is now inevitable.
Perhaps your grace might lend his voice to our outreach.
Enough.
In hopes that new terms might be negotiated.
Would someone please...
Is the heir to the throne bothering you, Tyrant?
No, not in the least, Your Grace.
Because I think he wants a ride.
Your grace.
A ride?
A pony ride.
Your grace. There are important matters to discuss. Despite Sir Tyland's interruptions.
Very well. No time for amusements, Tyland.
Those pressures will multiply quickly.
Well, we should have just killed her when we had the chance.
Regrettably, the opportunity for surprise.
They're saying the same thing about you.
And with it,
Aemon, what is your business here?
The king summoned me.
You do not have a seat at this council.
Aemon is my closest blood and our best sword. I welcome him.
After
Inviting
King's
everyone.
through the Riverlands, we must establish a toehold there. Darren,
The River Lords will either declare for me, or they will meet Vhagar and Sunfire together.
Rhaenyra has dragons as well.
Mine are bigger.
If we loose the dragons to war, there'll be no calling them back. We must proceed cautiously.
Fat old Lord Tully will either raise my banner or see his burn. We should fly to River Run.
You are the king, Your Grace. You must not put yourself at risk.
And Vhagar is needed here to deter Rhaenyra from attacking, in retribution for the death of her son.
I wonder if he told her what really happened. One thing I want to say, it's funny how Rhaenyra was a cupbearer until she was like 17 or something, and then the little kid gets a seat like when he's 5 or less.
I have completed questioning the whole of the castle staff. They produced rather interesting details, but I am satisfied I have exposed all that betrayed our trust.
What of them?
They no longer breathe our air. I've chosen your new staff personally.
Great. Well, thank you for that. So your eyes will be everywhere, even more than they were before.
Yeah.
But at least they're not our enemies. We're not enemies, are we, Laris?
Give me that.
Your Grace?
Just leave me. Just leave me.
Yeah, I always feel like it would just be more annoying for someone else to wash you, you know?
She talks to Laris once and immediately has to go have a bath. just
She's
just
like, "Oh,
runs
he's
into
so
him in the
greasy."
hallway. Oh. Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Are those his clothes? Or is it? Is part of his sail? Or his saddle?
Aegon the Magnanimous, second of his name.
Who gave him that title?
The Magnanimous.
He doesn't even know. Did he just make that up?
And how might your king be of service?
I don't like this at all.
Tis my flock.
What is that face?
10th of them taken by the crown on the cusp of winter. If I'd had the time to plan,
We should
perhaps.
return them.
Your Grace?
You need your goats for the winter, don't you?
Your Grace.
Sheep, even better. I
They
will
were
make your flock of sheep whole.
We already made a promise that a tithing of livestock would be necessary to sustain the dragons for their increased activity and, pray not, eventual fighting.
Right. Perhaps we could just return his sheep. He came all this way.
If you return
Oh my
100
God.
sheep, you're expecting the same.
They won't know.
King speaks, your grace. All hear it.
You're in a room full of people. He's like,
I grant thee tax evasion.
After further thought, bring the next.
solid effort.
Always war threatening.
That treasonous blockade won't last long. I plan to send Vhagar to burn it to ash.
Oh boy.
Bring the next.
You can't just keep. Okay.
Hugh, your grace.
Hugh looks like a character.
We're all proud to support your grace against Rhaenyra. To put it simply, we are struggling. If we could but have the crown's coin before we started work, it would bring great relief. Not just to me, but to all the Smiths serving your cause.
You shall be paid, and paid well. My army cannot win a war without your weapons. You should continue their making.
How about a middle ground?
Yeah. Set up a payment plan here.
I mean, he's right.
I'll hear the next petition.
It's not a, like, what he said isn't wrong, but it's also like, you can't just keep giving and giving all the, like, maybe in advance, you know what I'm saying? Like, some now, some later.
Just as your father did.
Thank you, my lord.
I wonder, do you have a moment for a quiet word? Does the hands want to keep a firm grip on things? You controlled your father in the same way. Viserys had a certain reputation as being pliable.
I am aware.
You would wish to be viewed differently.
How?
Otto Hightower was your father's hand, your grace.
He's making a power move right now.
power move. What of your own hand, your grace? Or foot, I'd rather.
I find myself wondering, do we pursue the same end?
I must admit there are days where I myself can't be sure.
It's victory.
And how would you define victory?
Rhaenyra bending the knee, and Aegon sitting there on the throne in peace, as Viserys wished.
Well, if that's how you describe it, then we are allied.
And be my ally.
I am.
An ally would not repeatedly cut my legs from beneath me at that table of men. I sit there and I feel your anger.
Frustration.
My sons both see you as the great example. The Hand to 3 Kings. Aegon is ever eager to prove himself, and Aemond is angry. Rhaenyra's son took his eye and was never punished for it.
Race of youth.
Can only hope.
Aemon erred, but he is fiercely loyal. He wishes to please.
And Aegon still heeds me, in private at least. But if you undermine my voice, both those boys will grow deaf to it.
Yeah, that's a really...
That's a huge point to make. She's 1,000% right.
I hadn't seen it that way.
We only need to mind Aegon until the novelty of rule is spent. Once he tires of it, you and I can steer our course to victory.
A fine strategy, daughter. But you must accept that the path to victory now is one of violence.
I know it. That does not mean it must be wanton.
Exactly.
No.
That was a very convincing no.
Yeah.
Good shit, Otto.
That's such a good point for her to make, especially since Buddy over there...
Can we pause? Do you want to pause for a second?
Sure. Yeah, I feel like that was such a good point for her to make, because especially right now, freaking whatever weasel man over there is currently
trying to
undermining
them.
Otto
right
now, and like he isn't like, oh, don't listen to your mom. Because he doesn't have to say that, because Otto is already, like, making her be like, you know, because if he is, like, the hand of the king, he is the advisor, oh, that's just your shitty mom, who's just your mom, and not diplomatic and smart, you know, person that can counsel you, then it's like, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to my mother. Why would I listen to my mother?
And why would I listen to, you know, my grandsire? I can't make my own legacy if the guy who was seen to be controlling even my dad and, you know, the king before him, how can I leave my own legacy as like a powerful king if I'm still being puppeted by the same person, even if, you know, we are family?
But Otto isn't thinking about, like, he's not thinking that there's someone else going around doing the same thing to him, so he doesn't see the harm in doing that to his daughter. But it's a weird thing, because he doesn't realize that, like, his position is a lot more fragile than he thinks that it is, and he doesn't realize that if Aegon doesn't want to listen to him anymore, then the only way that he would have influence would be through Alicent.
Yes.
He doesn't realize...
He doesn't see that,
He doesn't realize that, and because he's been in the same position for so long and such a trusted advisor, and he's been so good at kind of like slipping around and saying the right things, and...
I think you're right, but I think that he understands the fragility of his position decently well, because he was taken out of it. He just recently got favor back, just as a refresher. So I think what this kind of conversation and this difference of opinion as far as counseling is concerned is there's some tension because of what happened in episode 9, and they're being on having different opinions on how to proceed, and that has persisted, this like rift in their relationship, and for, you know, many other reasons, because of, you know, Otto's actions and his outlook towards everything. I think it breaks down, it goes back to the kind of the feminism angle that the show is clearly taking, and it's a sort of goes along with that, where I think Otto partially, it's like Alicent has leveled up over the course of last season to where she is, you know, she's not just a girl anymore. She's one of the key players in this thing, and she has influence in a way that only a mom can. And he wasn't a mother, and he wasn't a great father. He was a good manipulator, and he raised his daughter to help him further the ends of their family in his position. So like, it's really interesting in this scene where like he sits down, and he kind of admits that he's been rash, because I think it's sort of slightly, you could see the rift healing, because she admits like, yeah, my way to victory, you know, he's like, well, you know that like your way to victory is away. Yeah, your perfect world, we don't live in that world anymore. And she admits that, and so like there's a little bit of I can't think of the word right now, but
mending?
Yeah, I had a better word, but I can't think of it. Anyway, yeah, basically, it's like they're starting to mend that rift a little bit in a way that's really honest And in a way, that, you know, like, because he doesn't see it the way that she sees it because she's a woman and because she's a mother and because she has this own particular perspective. So of course he wouldn't see it that way. And yeah, just that interplay there is really interesting. You could see this scene is beginning the road to a stronger council and a stronger House Hightower. Mm-hmm. Or a stronger Greens, you could say. However, you know, yeah, neither of them know that Larys is over there in the ear of...
Yeah.
And Alicent can't do anything because of the complexity in their relationship and how he has dirt on her and he's kind of has her under his thumb. Mm-hmm. So she's trying, I think, to mend fences with Otto as well because she knows that Larys is, like, stacking the deck against them in a way, but she obviously can't leak that. Mm-hmm. So the best thing she could do is try and keep things as strong as possible until Aegon kind of chills out a little bit and they can regain that control that, you know, they desire or that they literally need to live. Anyway.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Simply split the business along.
Business that ended with the theft of the Queen's throne and the murder of her son.
You only blame me because your true enemies are out of reach. My arrangement with the Hand was...
Okay. So what now, then?
But the lady speaks the truth. She was no agent of the Hightowers.
What is it to you?
A matter of honor.
Was it honor that made you stand by and watch as the Hightowers usurped the throne? You and your traitorous twin?
No.
I'm standing here.
I'm shamed by it. That's why I abandoned the King's Guard and my brother and came here.
I don't care. Aegon was in your grasp. You should have killed him yourself.
I reckon our names of the King's Guard are just 8 and 10. And we swore the same oath to defend the whole of the royal family. So what were we to do when they turn against one another?
Yeah.
That's some Duncan Egg shit. Mm-hmm. They can't, you know, hurt the royal family even if they're set against them. Oh, she's back. She's gonna be like, let's fucking go right now.
I want Aemond Targaryen.
He's like, okay. Is that a face of, all right, let me go get him? Or is that a face of, we're fucked? Maybe the first one.
Your knowledge in exchange for freedom.
It's a pretty good deal.
It's the only one she's gonna get. She'll be put to death otherwise, sooner or later.
Your Grace, Lady Jane Arryn has pledged her support in exchange for a dragon to guard the Vale. And Lord Cragen Stark has promised 2,000 men.
Emma Darcy's so damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Is she gonna light a candle for Luke? Or is it for her mom still? Damn. That's tragic as fuck. I'm sorry. What? He's going? Asaria's spies, maybe?
Damn.
He put on his cloak of disguise that he used to kill his first wife.
Yeah.
Commander, never gone for long. I'm told you bear a mislike for the High Towers.
Fuck the High Towers.
Oh, Jesus.
He's just rolling in so much money. He's just like...
I understand that you possess a unique knowledge of the Red Keep.
Mate, those tunnels, where the rat's nest it is, I know them better than the shape of my arm cock.
How about your hand?
I feel sorry for you.
Tonight he's going to... You're to find and slay the Prince Aemon Targaryen. He has silver hair and one eye. Should be easy enough to find.
Looks kind of like me, but with a bigger nose.
But I understand he's quite good in a fight. You want to take caution. It's one half. We'll get the other when it's done.
You're gonna entrust this to the fucking kennel master?
All right. What if we can't find him?
We wasted precious days and ravens.
This is Damon's like crazy plan?
You should be leading the van.
No, I don't want to see what happens with this
Yeah,
dog,
I
man.
don't want to... Leave the dog outside, please. Also,
gonna-
the dog's just gonna get you caught. It's a dog. It doesn't know...
But if he has the dog, he's doing work.
Oh. I guess that's true.
Because he's been killing all the rats. I just don't want to see what happens to this fucking dog, man. It's gonna upset me.
He's like,
Are they really gonna try this shit? This is like
This
the
just seems-
dumbest
yeah.
possible fucking plan. I mean, something
if
has
you
to be
were
done.
assassinating someone else, then I could say that it could be a somewhat decent plan.
But like, they're not professionals, are they?
No.
Is this the fucking throne room?
My nephew's already taken.
It's a king.
Who gives a shit what they say?
My brother at least knows his place. He's as loyal as a hound. I can set him and his dragon on my foes at will.
Keep your eyes down.
No one knows what magnanimous means.
Man. Serious?
Egg on the dragon cock.
Yes, the untamable beast.
Great.
His friends seem nice.
So many rats.
The royals live up there.
Right.
Well, it's off limits, it is. Different group of rat catchers worthy upstairs.
If we're to kill a royal fucking prince, where do you think we're gonna find him?
How about we don't...
I got you in the castle.
No.
Oh, the dog. I hope this guy fucking dies.
At least the dog's away.
Hope one of these rats bites that guy.
I mean, if
He
the
gets
rats
the
can
plague.
see, then they'll have forewarning. This is sketchy as hell.
It's just straight into...
It's an escape route, probably.
No gold.
Well, you're leaving a trace now. Oh, it's that's Harrenhal. These guys, man. The map's down there, right? That's where it is. This music is stressing me out.
This is a
Is he
horror
gone?
movie right now.
For the rats.
Surely, for the rats. Oh my god.
That was a weird walk he just did. She's going to tell somebody.
And he just lit everything on fire.
Wait, who is that? Oh no!
Who the fuck is she?
She's the queen, she is.
Yeah, you just fucked up so bad.
Why?
Like a fucking son to you.
Like, if she lives, it's over. Now that you said that.
Her... Really?
What? No!
Get out of it and get out.
You guys are about to make this
Oh
100,000
my
times
God.
worse.
You guys are about to kill not only these children,
Maybe that one.
but maybe
Not for a cock.
The mother knows.
Do anything but what I ask, and I'll break the holy lot of you.
These fucking guys.
No.
I have a necklace. It's of great value.
That's no son.
Take everything in the room.
Yeah.
And leave. Damon's not gonna pay you fucking...
Wait. It's the other one. She's not going to give up the king's heir that easy.
No. She's telling true.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. No.
Hold him down.
I can't. I don't know if I can do this.
Just yell. Holy shit.
And they just let her walk out?
Oh my God.
Holy shit. She probably saw it. She probably knew this would happen already. That's probably why she's acting like this.
Rat guys.
Yeah. She had a vision, or... Is she going to the throne room? Oh no.
What happened? They killed the boy.
My God, dude.
Those fucking guys.
I'm surprised they even let her go.
They're stupid.
They're
dumb
maybe
as
the
fuck.
dumbest characters of all time.
She literally, like, she offered them the necklace, and instead of being like, oh, yeah, you're fucking rich as hell, just give me more money and I'll fuck off. They're like, no, we're gonna do literally not, like Damon is, they're gonna go back to Damon and he's just gonna fucking kill them because they've ruined, like, everything was already ruined and now they've just, like, ruined it more. The last
I love how they take it so literally.
Yeah.
He says son for a son. That'll do it.
It's like the literal last thing that Rhaenyra would ever want would be for this. It's like, it wasn't just like, oh, they spited me, so I'm gonna spite them in a semi-related way. It was like, no, that one guy murdered my son, so bring him specifically back. It wasn't like, oh, they wronged me, so now all of them need to suffer. You know? So,
that was terrible. That sound design was incredible. And,
man, I hate these guys. They're so bad.
I feel really sad for Helena because she clearly, like, that's what she was talking about at the beginning. She knew this would happen. That's why she was acting so kind of like she wasn't screaming. It's because she knew, you know, she didn't have a choice. Because that's, you know, it's been built up with her. I wonder if she was the son. I don't know if the son was the older or the younger one. Because I think there's theories that one or both of their children are Aemons.
Oh.
Perhaps. I'd heard that theory before. I don't know how confirmed or how much evidence there is for that, but that's something that's been thrown around, is that one or both, that like, because Aemon was always talking about how he should be the king and how she's the real one, how he's like the perfect, you know, he's the real Targaryen, you know? And he actually, like, he talked last season, I think when they were kids, about how he would like to take, you know, he would do his duty to his house, that he would marry his sister, and, you know, he would be eager to take up that position with honor and with his, you know, so there's theories because of that, and because of some, I think some other things that I don't quite know the evidence, but that point in the direction of that some that at least one, if not both of the children, may be his kids rather than Aegon's. So I wonder if she chose the one, if it is one of them and not both, the one that is Aegon's child and not Aemon's. But I think more importantly, other than just that speculation, as far as what's actually in the show, is just that it's living as her is fucking terrifying. To have to know that was going to happen, and then when it comes to pass, just be completely away from it. It is kind of ridiculous how those guys were just so consumed with that they didn't notice her take the other child and leave instantly. Like they didn't,
I think it was more like they just thought their job is done.
Either way, like if you want to escape the castle with your life, you need to make sure that you know what I'm saying. Like,
I mean, if
so
they were, weird, if they had any brains at all, they would have just taken a ton of money from her and skipped town.
Yeah, it's like if they were professional assassins and on a contract, you know what I'm saying? Not like House of Black and White, because that's like a different thing. Like the Faceless Men, that's like different. That's, they do it for money as well, as far as I remember. Is their business is assassinations. I wouldn't expect, like, that would be different. But like if you were an assassin person or somebody who is like a high level mercenary and you got hired to do this, then I would understand if it's your business
that you don't want to betray the client.
You wouldn't take the coins off the table. You wouldn't betray the client. But these guys are buffoons who like have no real. I mean, other than he was like, oh yeah, fuck the High Towers, fucking, it's like kind of comically stupid.
Yeah.
I would expect them to be more interested in taking her necklace, in taking anything in the room. If she was just like, take literally everything in the room, I don't care, just don't kill my children. But it goes, because she had a vision. It's one of those things that's like kind of determined by fate in a way. It's one of those things that is kind of unchangeable, and there's evidence of that in other parts of the series as well. These situations that, like, even if you fight against, or if you try to fight against it, worse things will happen,
Well, and it's like the thing with her kind of seeing it coming, and then just like she tries the necklace thing, but in the end, and then she doesn't lie about what kid it is, because she's just like, if I already knew that this was going to happen, and now I'm in this moment, and it's like I thought, and there's nothing I can do, then I might as well just give them what they want and go on with what I already knew my life was going to be after this moment. Viserys
went the opposite way, and look what happened with him,
And, it's interesting in the way that she sort of reacts in the situation, because I feel like, especially in this season, we have a lot of examples of, like, mothers that are very, like fierce about their children, and I feel like a lot of it is portrayed in very emotional and real and like messy ways, but with her, because she's so detached, and because she lives with
this burden.
Then it forces her to not. It's like there's like that, like, obviously she cares about her children, but it's like she's
an example of the opposite of all other dragon dreamers and Targaryens. Like, Viserys is a recent example in this show. But you look through all, like, Targaryen history, it's all about, like, exactly like what happened with Balon, Rhaenyra's younger brother, who died in the first episode of the first season. That's a perfect example, and it's what makes this situation for her so much more tragic, is because she, like, unlike all the other Targaryens who were just like, oh, I dreamt of the future, I'm going to use that to further my house, to further my family, and then what do you know?
Completely backfires.
Yeah, it backfires, and you become the architect of your own destruction. That's how prophecy works in the series, generally speaking. And it's really interesting to see a character who, is, she loves her children. It's obvious, just in all the scenes, but she, unlike other dreamers, is, unfortunately, for her, she accepts the nature of that burden and doesn't try to fight against it. And I think it's partially going back to what during when we pause, like, you know, feminism is clearly, you know, not in like a woke thing. It's like, it's something that the series is concerned with. It's a theme of the story, like with the mother, you know, it's a big part of the story. And I think that the fact that she is like the queen and she doesn't necessarily like Aegon, it seems like. And, you know, she's in this situation. She's the way that she has to just kind of accept the dreams, you know?
Well, and
it plays into the whole angle of that, you know, the women in this world, like with Alicent, how she felt so powerless and how she was just, she always was trying to do the right thing. And she just like, you know, was kind of forced to let things happen. She was always like picking at her knuckles and fucking herself up and stuff. It's like, this is a magical sort of example of that exact same phenomenon where they don't have the freedom to do that. They're bound to their position and to their fate, whether they like it or not. And she can actually see the future, and yet it's the same thing. It doesn't give her any power. So unlike all the other dreamers, it kind of plays into both things, plays into the lore, and it makes a statement on, you know, one of the big themes of the story. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's and the way that she comes in and she says like the boy is dead instead of like, I don't even remember what the kid's name was, honestly. Like,
I don't remember the
kids'
kids'
like,
names.
If you like, not my son or like the name, just the boy is dead. I have like it's like that. It's that detachment of it's like if you know there's like a. I don't know, some kind of like animal that is like, you know, you're gonna have to like give away or is like injured or something, and you're like the dog. Yeah. Like you don't want to name the dog because then when you name the dog, if you know the dog's gonna die, then you know you'll be more you know it's
like how you hear people talk about in a breakup or like in a custody battle or something, they'll say my kid instead of, you know, the name of the child, because it's like it becomes an object in this kind of drama that's playing out, like this thing that you might be very attached to, but you see what I'm saying? Like it's a similar sort of that detachment. And I think that she does that. There's two reasons. I think that she says like the boy, because it's a detachment thing. And, you know, because it's tragic to see her. She just went through this crazy thing, but it's like she is a bit more prepared for it, you know, in a way. So, you know, and also I think the writerly, you know, script writerly thing is to confirm like 3 times the boy, the male heir, is dead. It wasn't because there was talk of like, oh, she's lying, you know, they introduced that. So I think it's partially she says that so that we know as the audience 1000%. And she, you know, she goes to the room with her mom and the Kingsguard. She's safe here, as safe as she could be. You know, to confirm to us so that there's no confusion, so that we know the score going into next episode. The male heir is dead. And it's a really big deal. It's not a weird mix-up or something like that. So it's very clear to us. And yeah, it does. The detachment thing, I think, is real. Great first episode.
I fucking hate those guys. Like I just saw them in the little preview, and I'm like, fuck those guys. Yeah, it sucks that we have to like. Not that I. Like that's the thing about them is that I feel like in a worse show, I would see, like, those guys and be like, what terrible writing to write such fucking shitty-ass guys, you know? Yeah. But, and I still think that Daemon is stupid for, like, hiring, like, random guys off the street.
It does seem a bit, you know?
But, like, I guess the thing is like, I think like the mistake is on him and these guys are just fucking you know what I mean? I'm just like, these guys are clearly dumb, but Daemon I feel like is like even more dumb for hiring dumb guy. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, well, I think with Daemon, what passes it for me as far as like a logic thing of why he would hire these people is because one of the dudes is from the City Watch. He was Lord Commander of the City Watch. He probably, you know, is aware of this guy.
Yeah.
That's why, you know, he was there, but Daemon's he's impulsive.
Yeah.
And you know, this feels about as in line logically as him showing up personally in his robe of disguise and killing his wife in a field, you know? Yeah. It's about the same level. So, you know, it's not like there's precedence for it. These guys, I will say, feel a little bit cartoonishly evil, you know? Like in a way that feels kind of convenience a strong word because, you know, they are just characters, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have a job in the story, they have a motivation. So, like, convenience a bit strong, but they do feel like kind of caricatures, like a, you know
especially
what I'm saying?
when especially because I think, like, every single other character in the show is so strong and so, like you just see them and they're, like, so real and so, like, three-dimensional, and then there's just these, like, cartoon fucking idiots that are, you know, murdering a child in the night.
I think I'll need to stew on it a little bit more, but they do come off as a little bit thin as, you know, people who are supposed to be living in the world. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we'll see how it goes. Like, I'm you know, maybe there'll be a downturn in terms of their characterization or how they feel kind of, like, real. Because, like, a lot of the other people, even when you're in, like, the market or whatever, or just, like, you know, background characters, the world feels very rich and real, but to get in these guys' heads and they're all like, oh, how do we get upstairs? You know, I'm just, you know. Anyway.
I do like the whole rat thing. Like, I feel
that.
like that's
that
cool
was good.
Because she's always talking about the rats, and then we're like, oh my god, are they all gonna get a plague from the rats? Or, like, you know, it's like there's all this tension, and you're like, oh, the rats, and then what you're not thinking about is, oh, because they're infested with rats, all of these random ass people are just walking through the castle, and no one is paying attention to them because there's all these rats, so they just have to have, like, random people catching the rats.
Yeah.
And it's, like, completely unsecure because they basically, because they don't like these pests in their house, they've given the keys away. Not even just the keys, they've given, like, the schematics of their house away. Because the rat catchers are going through secret passages that, like, 90% of people that live in the castle they don't even know exist. Because the whole point is, like, that you don't have to see the rat catchers. You know, they're not walking through the main room all the time.
Well, I think they're not normally supposed to be up there, is what he was saying.
Yeah,
so.
But, like, in the lower part of the house, because he even said there's other rat catchers that go upstairs. It's just, I guess it's just kind of an interesting.
Oh, I didn't catch. Sorry, I just was thinking about the handmaiden. So fucking Laris replaced all the handmaidens with his people, and then he see one of his handmaidens who's trained, you know, to inform on Laris and protect his interests and, like, you know, probably do his bidding in places where she can. She's, like, on his team, basically. If it was one of the same handmaids, I imagine it was. That's the idea.
She looked like she...
So she sees the clear, like, you know, she's probably smart enough, you know, being informed by Laris to know there's shit going on. Yeah. But she disappears, and it's not, and I thought it was like, oh, their goose is cooked. But no, looking back, that was clearly, like, Laris letting this happen, and because he's the rat man, he probably told her, you know, like, you know, like, my point is maybe not told her, but, like, his presence is subtly there always, like, not only with the rats, which is a big fan theory that a lot of people talked about, and is, like, I guess, you know, as we're going forward, is probably more confirmed just with the focus that they've got in this episode. And I forget if again, we only watched the last episode of last season, so maybe there's another bit of, like, much stronger confirmation that Laris is a skin changer and he is controlling the rats. I think it's heavily implied, and that implication extends even more in this episode, if it wasn't already confirmed, is what I'm saying. But it's not only with that, which people have already been thinking about, it's also now with the handmaid, so it's, like, twofold. It's like it's like you can feel him in the walls in this place. It's sketchy as hell, and I kind of feel dumb that I didn't realize until after the episode was over that that's what was going on. I thought it was like, oh, it's all happening so fast, she's gonna go get somebody, but it's gonna be too late, and it's gonna happen, and, you know, maybe they'll catch them, but blah blah blah. But no ruckus at all. The whole thing went down after she saw him, and nothing happened. And it's probably because Laris let it happen.
I also, like, I don't even, like...
Why he would do that is strange, but, like, because if he's on... Is he on Alicent's side? Like, we don't know his end goal. He's being creepy and weird and trying to undermine everybody, but, like... Does he just want the war to break out? I guess? He just wants to chaos as a ladder type thing? I don't know. It's hard not knowing what his end goal is exactly, other than... you know, having power over Alicent type thing. But anyway, so yeah, anyway, that's cool. I just thought about that, and it's very interesting. And there was a lot of other good scenes. The Rhaenyra grief
that was so sad.
is so sad and real feeling. It doesn't feel overplayed at all to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm usually afraid that it can be, but her character comes off so good. It's because Emma Darcy just fucking nails it. It's so good. And like in this scene in particular, it's so like gut-wrenching, you know?
It's amazing, like, how, like, for Rhaenyra and also for Alicent, it's just, like, how much can be conveyed in, like, just, like, a facial expression is, I feel like, is what really takes the show to such another level. They're both so good, and, like, and I just love that, like, the two of them are, like, operating on the same level in terms of acting, because I feel like it gives... They both feel so vibrant and so real that it's
in a way that's not just the script.
Yeah, it's like
or
them
direction
and like the chemistry that they had when they were working together, like in scenes together, I feel like has carried over to the point that like when Aemon is like, oh, like my mother
is
like she has love for the enemy, and you believe that like Alicent cares about, like when Alicent is kind of being a bleeding heart and like, oh, I like, you know, in my I just want Rhaenyra to bend the knee and for everyone to be fine. It's like you believe, and when she's lighting the candle, it's like it doesn't come across as like, oh, she's, you know, behaving that way, but she's not actually that way. It comes across as like extremely genuine. And
it's because it's a solitary moment where she does that. Nobody's watching her do this other than like maybe servants, but she's not doing this to like show that she is regretful and like a gracious winner in this situation type thing where like, oh no, my enemies are not, you know, I don't see them as beneath me at all. Oh, what a great Queen Regent. She's so kind even to her enemies. Even she's gracious in victory. You know, type thing. It's not like that at all. It's this solitary moment. Nobody's asking her to light this candle. It's not like a big procession about the royal family or something. And in fact, people would be
like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
If they caught her doing that, you know?
We know that, you know, Aemon knows her and is like, yeah, he had that exact reaction. So, yeah. So, and I like that too. And it's especially rough with the way the episode turns out where she's just like, oh, well, fuck that, I guess. All gloves off at this point, you know?
Yeah.
Son for a son, indeed. Look how that turned out. Yeah. And small thing. I said it, like, the callback, but in Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Duncan Egg, the first book, I like the way that this was explained. It feels like the way that Arik, I forget which one, is talking about it here, feels extremely consistent with like the way that the Kingsguard are in general, like especially the way they're described in Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like when there's minor spoilers I guess, but there's a big fight and there's a bunch of Kingsguard on both sides and it's like a big sketchy thing and they can't attack the royal family who are like involved in the fight, and there's, you know, people on both sides, and it's so they have no choice but to like go after kind of each other or, you know, find other targets.
Yeah.
Even when they're set directly opposing in like you know, a trial of combat situation where like their soul is essentially on the line. They're in front of God, in the eyes of gods and men. They are set against the people that they're meant to protect. Even with that justification, their oaths prevent them from harming the royal family. So I like that was represented here, where it's like, oh, you could have just killed them all. It's like, no, I can't. That's why I'm here now, is because I have the integrity and the honor to not do that, even when they're my enemy. Like, you know, that, and even when they're your enemy and you're the true royal family, they still are the royal family.
Yeah.
So so I like that. I like that was in the first episode of this season, when there's probably going to be a lot more fighting. It's going to be, I hope, a point of contention that they have to deal with going forward, where they're like, maybe he'll have another chance to like kill a royal on the field of battle, possibly. And he'll have to, if he's honor bound, he won't do it, you know? Yeah. Very interesting. So I like that. I like that conversation. That was good. Stuff with Massaria seems like it might be interesting later. Right now, you know, we'll see where it goes. I love Alicent's character. Alicent is awesome.
I feel like Alicent, just every time I see her, I feel like I'm just reminded of like what a great character she is, because the thing that's so great about her is, like, obviously I'm not on her side, but the place that she's trying to do what she perceives as the right thing, and she doesn't realize that, like, the main thing that she's been acting on was, like, not the,
I think that's the complexity with her character, is that it's not just she doesn't know, it's that she heard what she wanted to hear, and yeah, there is the thing of, like, oh, there's an uncertainty.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about Alicent, is there's a lot of uncertainty with her. Is she doesn't want violence, she doesn't want to hurt, she knows, yeah, she's torn. She's conflicted. It's a human heart in conflict with itself, as they always say. It's and that's what I like about it, is that, like, it's not exactly that she doesn't really know the truth, it's that she chose what to believe, and it's not great either way, like she's so interesting, and I did like this conversation. We already talked about it, so we won't dwell on it too much. The conversation between Otto and Alicent, that was really interesting. Especially, they've kind of come back together a little bit. It's not 100%, but it's like they're strategizing together and working towards a common goal, with different opinions on it, but closer in ideals than they were before that scene type thing. So yeah, good stuff there. The Laris and Aegon scene, that's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah.
I like that Aegon has just an entourage of fuckboys that he just drinks with and messes around with all the time. Like they aren't like funny. They're like his entourage, and they just made up the we joked about that. They're drinking later. He's like, they don't know what the fuck magnanimous or whatever the fuck he said.
I do like those guys are actually kind of funny, because I like it because they're like hyping him up, but like in the way that that kind of guy would, like, your
like,
parents can't tell you what to do. And it's just
well, that's the thing.
But they're not like, oh, listen to me while I manipulate you into me going into a higher position. They're all just like, fuck our parents, man,
Well, I think there is like a relatability to that, which I think is on purpose, that there are just like, they're acting like a bunch of teenage boys hanging out chilling in the fucking basement, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's intentional, but they're not just teenage boys. I mean, maybe they literally are teenagers, but he's the king, and he has children. And one of his kids just got murdered without him knowing, because he's being flippant with everything. He's not taking this whole thing seriously. He's a child.
Yeah.
He does not get the responsibility. He's not a good king. He literally acts and hangs out like a teenager. That's so. But it's also like you said, it's like there's a little bit of a relatability. Like, it's understandable that they act like this, and it's kind of endearing in a weird way that the king, this guy who has all this power, is just a normal guy hanging out with his friends.
Yeah.
Despite him being a literal fucking monster rapist asshole. You know what I mean? So there's again that little conflict where it's like, outside of that, he seems totally normal. Isn't it fucked up that this guy who's just drinking with his friends turns out to be a rapist, adulterer who sells his children into fighting pit slavery and has their teeth and nails sharpened and filed to a point so that they can be entertainingly ripping each other's throats out? That's the kind of shit he gets down with. But here he is. Oh, he's just a normal
And, like,
bloke,
when he's watching his kid in, like, the council, and he's just like, oh, ha, 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 my child, like, is having so much fun. And he's just so normal, just like looking at his kid like, oh, they're having fun, and then he's like, oh, you're not
just
cool.
Using his kid as like he's acting like a kid. He's using his kid as a toy to act like a kid in the council meeting against these people who are advising him, like the adults.
He doesn't want to pay attention in the council, so when his kid isn't paying attention in the council, he's like, oh, well, I'll pay attention to the kid not paying attention to the council. And then I really liked the moment in that scene where he was like, oh, how about like a pony ride or whatever? And then it was like going a bit too far. And then Alicent, like, I love the way that Alicent kind of like recovered that moment, because she was just like, she did a good job of like not letting this go too far.
I like that
but
too.
Also still
maintaining the power.
Yeah, saying yes, you are distracting the council. Like,
but they had a look where even he knew what she was doing.
Yeah, it was like this thing where like
she needs to let Aegon win a little bit.
Well, she needs to like reassert.
Yeah.
The king is in charge. But let's not waste any more time by you disrupting the council.
Even though it's not his fault, and he knows it's not his fault, and she knows it's not his fault, and he knows that that she's just saying that to get things back on track because it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I liked that scene. It was really interesting. The kid's really cute. That's why I was like chuckling. It was like kind of funny, but then like it is just really weird. It's just weird how this guy is like. Yeah, Aegon fucking sucks ass. I hate that guy. All my homies hate Aegon.
Yeah, it's like he's terrible. And then he also does have like this weird thing where he's like kind of a bleeding heart to the random peasants.
I think he just wants to be
liked.
liked.
But like he has this thing where he's just
and he doesn't care. That's
it's like he doesn't understand. He's like, oh, you want more goats? Like I've never had to think about how many goats that I have. So yeah, sure, we'll give him back to you. Like. It doesn't bother me.
Mean anything to him.
It's like personally to me, you having 10 goats back literally does not matter. So go ahead. It's like oh, you want money? I have infinite money. Go ahead, take it back. Yeah.
He's impulsive. It's full on narcissism is what it is. He's not a bleeding heart. He wants to be the guy. Hey, Aegon, cool fucking king. Hey, thanks, man. Oh, no problem, dude. Yeah. All right, what next? He's like, everyone's like, you just completely fucked up the entire war effort by now setting a precedent that now all the livestock that we took in wartime for an emergency for your dragon to protect you and your family, all of that's gone, and now we need to issue a statement and possibly start killing people. Peasants who are like trying to take their shit back or like think it's their right to do. Now you cause so many other innumerable problems. And he literally, like when Otto explains it, he's like, he literally does not, it's not like, oh yeah, I don't care. It's like he not only didn't care, he didn't even consider anything when he's saying shit.
Yeah.
It's hilarious and perfect narcissism portrayal there. Great stuff. Wow. And then, okay, I want to talk about this, and this was very interesting, and I don't know what to think about it. Well, I kind of have a theory. So, I want to approach this with sensitivity, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. There was a lot of, like, from a lot of people, there was a lot of, like, discussion about whether Corlys in the lore, quote-unquote, is black. And that was a big thing last season where everybody was like, oh, is the casting good? I really like this guy as Corlys. I don't know, I didn't read the books, the Fire and Blood book. I don't know the lore that deeply. I think as far as the character being portrayed, him being black, I don't give a shit. I think that he's a perfect casting for the character. I think he portrayed the character really well. But the way that they used the racial casting choice with the whole the strong bastard thing, like when Corlys' brother is in the throne room last season, he's like, everybody can see that these young Valyrians of Rhaenyra's children who are supposed to inherit Driftmark clearly don't look the same as their father, and so the casting choice of making Laenor and Corlys and all of the Valyrians black, it had like a tangible effect on the way that we as an audience interact with the story. Because we can see, and everybody in the story can see, those kids don't look like that guy. So, and it's obvious. I'm bringing this up because I wonder if they're saying that, because like, I'm bringing this up because if, say, we were in a different port and the Lord approaching the deckhand was they were both white, I wouldn't immediately, from my perspective, be like, oh, that's father and son. But when these guys are interacting, part of me wonders, is this guy like a secret Valyrian bastard of Corlys that like saved him? Like is there a more character thing? Because like the way that this whole scene kind of evolves, like I don't know whether they're actually setting something up like that.
Well,
because
he's also bald.
Well, exactly, because if he would grow silver hair if he did
like
that.
you were thinking like
that was a big walk around. I'm just trying to say like Yeah, I think you understand what I mean. Like, because I got the vibe that there was some other emotional attachment here, and it's common, I think, on...
Well, there's like the "I'm just doing my job" kind of line, but like...
Yeah. It's like creating distance in a way.
Yeah.
You know? Well, because in as far as I know in the lore, there's a thing on Dragonstone and I believe Driftmark. There's Valyrian bastards who live on the islands, and they all, there's random kid with they're called dragon seeds is what they're referred to as. They're just, peasants, they're bastard children from the lords that inhabit the castle. It's a common thing. So they're, the genes are actually spread amongst the populace of the people in the towns, in the fishing villages, etc. like that. So I think that they're setting up something like that here, but I'm being careful with it because I don't, I wouldn't assume that the same way maybe if they were like two white guys like the rest of the cast. Like if we were in Winterfell and there was an older white guy, younger white guy, I wouldn't be like, oh, are they father and son? But because of the, the casting choice with Corlys to make it changed the way that we saw the way that the line of succession, all that, and it played actually into the story of last season with Vaemond, with Luke and Viserys, all the not Viserys, Luke and Jacaerys, and that whole plot line and everything. It was like a big point of contention, and the fact that race played a role in that. And if Corlys was cast as a white guy, it wouldn't have the same effect. When Vaemond's like, they're bastards, how dare you? They're clearly not related to me. So anyway, that's a big walk around. But I wonder if there is something here, because there was like a weird tenderness that I picked up. I don't know if you got that too, of like with this whole thing. And just the looks that they're giving each other, and like, it seems like there's more of a connection there.
I guess I didn't really pick up that much vibe.
Maybe I'm just inventing it.
But I was thinking, I was kind of like, who is, like, this guy seems like he's supposed to be important. It seems like there's something, it seems like there's something there. I don't know what that is. Like, just this whole like, I hear that you're the one that's like, just the way that the conversation flowed makes it seem like they have some kind of history in some way. But and he kept this, thing to give back to him, and
and aside from both being black, they also kind of look similar. Like they for this guy, he kind of looks like Corlys's actor as well, like in the face a little bit more. So I don't know. I just wanted to bring that up. I'm sorry if it was like such a weird walk around. I just don't want to come off as weird or say the wrong thing. Because there was like a lot of controversy. I just don't want to be lumped in with all the people who were like freaking out about the Valyrians being black from last season. So that's why I'm being kind of weird about it. But it is, I did, like, aside from all of that shit, I did note, like, it seems like there's more of a connection here just between the characters, aside from any casting decisions or anything like that. And it's cool to see just the docks here. I thought this set was really good.
Yeah, I did really like the set. I like that the boat was kind of like,
it could all be CG. But the boat looks pretty, you never know. It's easier to do a static object rather than a moving one. Speaking of VFX, the shot of Rhaenyra getting off her dragon here, I hate to say it was a little bit wonky. I'm not one to like make a big deal about it. It was just right here when she's sliding off the wing. It was just something that stuck out to me. Like she's sliding on it like it's a flat surface. And maybe the way that her shadow goes across the wing, I don't know. It's also just that it's a dragon and dragons aren't real, so I'm probably feeling weird about that. But
you're like, oh, the anatomy of this dragon.
It just looks like she slid down a flat slide. I think it was like kind of
she was like kind of like jumping off as well, and it's all like folded up. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a VFX guy. I just that the dragons in general, like comparing the dragons of HOTD to Game of Thrones, like the Game of Thrones dragons were like crazy good, and then there's way more dragons in this show and way more VFX animals in general like that. So I think that was a conversation last season too, where like the budget has to be stretched a little bit more thin for that thing, less time spent on each individual shot, because there's just so many more VFX shots that are really complicated like that. So I'm not going to dwell on it necessarily. I just want to point that out because that specific shot looked a little bit weird. The Stark.
Oh yeah, this at the beginning was really
so
good.
Cool.
I love when he said like whatever, like, oh yeah, and then their dragons like wouldn't go over the wall or whatever. Like
that was
fucking
crazy.
Sick. I really like this guy because I feel like he just like immediately, like he just had Stark energy to him,
Yeah.
you know? Like he just came across like rational, loyal, calm, but like, you know, like he's really gonna, I don't like he's kind of just gonna get shit done.
He's convincingly
but very
yeah.
level-headed, even though he's young.
Which I love that they're young. I said that.
Yeah.
I really like that because they said that at last episode of the season, where Rhaenyra was like, "You'll go there because you guys are around the same age.
Yeah.
You can kind of bond with him. Like that'll help you." And I feel like they did. I feel like that kind of worked where they kind of,
yeah.
you know.
I also
but there was
think-
a little bit of a politic-y kind of talk to there, which I don't know.
Yeah, it was good because I like it because I feel like it works because a lot of times, like, you know, like if he rolled up and it was like an old man, then you get like the, oh, blah, 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 this is a kid. But I feel like this guy, like as I mean, he's literally talking to like in Rhaenyra's line, the future heir of the throne.
Yeah.
And so he is like building that relationship as like, you know, obviously, you know, I'm loyal to her, but also to you, and we're, you know, kind of setting things up, and I'm showing you over the wall, and I'm telling you about, you know, the history and I don't know, just something about it, and like to start it off like this was really cool. Also because we haven't been in the North for a long time. It's just a very different vibe, and especially to how intense things left off at the end of last season, like this coming in with like just something different, I feel like was very effective, instead of like, oh, we're immediately back here, or, you know, with Alicent right away, or something like it. It was just kind of nice to see somewhere else, meet a new character, and I don't know, just something about the vibe was really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it works so well because, and I was thinking this too, I think the show in general, or just this story in general, because I think the North and Starks and Winterfell, all that shit, it carries such emotion for everybody. Like everybody's very attached to the North as like a home base, like viewers are. Like we as viewers who watched Game of Thrones and who are attached to the series see Winterfell as like the starting point. So to start a new series, to have like it's important to create that distance so that everybody isn't constantly just comparing it every second to the other show.
Yeah.
But to make it sure that it's telling its own story, starting it somewhere else is important. But to start this next season with this conversation and in this place, I think is not only just a hype thing, you know? I feel like it just is effective at kind of starting things off. And it's sort of, it in a way, like, I'm saying cash in, not like it's a sellout-y type thing. That's not what I mean at all. What I mean is like, they're cashing in on the emotional investment. You know, it's the story itself. Like, I'm sure this scene isn't just like show only or anything. That's not what I'm suggesting either. It's just like, as far as its place in the story as a TV show, having like starting out the season in this like familiar place, kind of returning to our roots, gearing up for this other, you know, situation, this new war, this like big bloody conflict, going back to this place that feels very familiar, that we understand. I feel like for a lot of people who maybe are really confused about all the different plot threads, who like aren't super crazy into it, starting it here helps people ground themselves in a familiar conversation. And as far as the dialogue itself, yeah, I like that they're both the same age, and I like that they're both young actors. And they feel younger than like the rest of the lords and ladies, you know what I mean? Like they feel like they're, you know, the next generation still, like not the current in control generation. They feel like they're young people in a room full of adults type thing.
Yeah.
They feel like they're at the kids' table, but they hold such a great burden. And the way that they talk is, it feels good. Like it just it's very well written, the way that they talk and everything.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see, like, we started off with this of like basically like a young ruler, and then like a young prince, like having these conversations and like doing a very good job at articulating themselves and like defending their side and like coming to a middle ground. And both of them are very good at what they're doing in the conversation that they're having. And then later when we see Aegon in the council and on the throne, just like not knowing how to behave at all as like the king.
Yeah.
Then it puts it in perspective.
That's
that
a big
you have
contrast. Yeah.
You have these guys over here. Like one of them is younger and is on this mission and they're doing their own thing, but just to see them be so competent and come to such a level-headed agreement, not being swayed by like this or that, they're just talking and being honest and
the
like,
fact that it's just two of them.
Yeah,
There's no Otto Hightower, there's no Rhaenyra or
and
Daemon.
and I like that the Stark guy is honest and he's like, yeah, I can't just drop everything and come and help you, even though I'm still loyal to you. And he explains himself as like, yeah, and I like the move that he made as well as like, some of these guys up here are pretty old and like, they're just up here in the cold all the time. So instead I will send them down to you. But I need to keep the younger people here just in case. And I feel like it's just like a very wise move, and it's just so rational when a lot of the characters are being irrational and just not paying attention.
I think that there's part of it. Yeah, it's showing Jace here as a competent prince, as a kind of foil to Aegon in a way.
Yeah,
is strong, but it's also like it reminds me of Rhaenyra and Alicent's relationship in their lives when they were young too, where they were like full of life and hope and like not, I guess Alicent felt very tied down obviously by her father's expectations and her duties as like a young lady, et cetera, but like there's a similar vibe here where the way that these two are talking feels like, again, like that next generation that hasn't quite been so poisoned by the toils of war and of politics and everything like that. They're speaking to each other. Jace speaks to him as an equal, as a respect for like the King in the North legacy of the Starks and the pride of the Starks. He's there as a prince, and he's there to enact and cash in on the oath that they swore. But he doesn't talk down to him. He talks to him with respect. And asks, he's asking him for something. It's not like with Luke, who walked in and he was like, I'm here on behalf of my mother, Queen Rhaenyra, to demand fealty with no benefit to you. He's not offering anything necessarily in exchange, but the Starks aren't one to, break an oath regardless. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, I like the way everything fits. It feels consistent, and they're also having the whole conversation about Aegon the Conqueror and bringing that whole thing up as a way to remind a lot of viewers as well what the relationship here is, the history of Torrhen Stark, the king who knelt, which, as far as the stories go, knelt because he didn't want his people to be burned by dragons. But there's a addendum to that fits into the whole thing that Viserys is told Rhaenyra about, like, the Song of Ice and Fire, Aegon's dream, etc., that Torrhen Stark actually knelt not only to save his people, that was a part of it, but also because Aegon the Conqueror coming with his dragons and his sisters and all this shit was going to be a big help for the White Walkers, and they both knew and kind of had a meeting of the minds where Torrhen Stark was like, you're not, you coming here isn't a bad thing for what we're doing. You coming here might be the exact thing that we need to like keep everybody alive from the White Walkers who are tearing down our door. Like the same secret has been kind of passed down. They had a meeting of the mind. So that whole idea and it being tied into kind of the background of the show of the whole prophecy and everything is communicated well through this interaction as well, especially for people who are more attached to like the Ned Stark era type thing and think of that as Game of Thrones and don't think about the whole prophecy and don't really know even about Torrhen Stark or all that shit or like the wall being built and all this stuff. And adding on to that, it's really cool just that what you said, the whole talk about how the dragons would not go over the wall. It is so chilling as well in general, this whole conversation when they get to the whole we guard against death type thing. it's chilling because there is this kind of vibe amongst the Night's Watch here and amongst the Starks with the whole intro monologue. There is this they feel it's only a couple hundred years, and there's still 8,000 years plus from away from the long night in the past.
Mhm.
But we feel closer.
It feels
to
more
that.
fresh.
It feels fresher. It feels like the cultural memory is a bit stronger. 200 years ago.
Mhm.
Even though it's about
Yeah.
it's 100 years.
Yeah.
With the Torrhen Stark thing, it would be 100 years since.
And just the fact that
that
the
whole
Night's Watch, like, they're not sending up prisoners. It's not a punishment.
It hasn't degraded
it's like,
so much, yeah.
It's like, you still probably don't want to, like, it kind of sucks if you get picked to go, but
it's still a duty.
It's regarded as an honor and a duty, and you're not just getting criminals who don't want to be there and, like, are, kind of terrible in general. You're getting, like, a mix of people. And, like, the state that the Night's Watch was in Game of Thrones, you weren't going to be like, I'll send 2,000 of the old guys down because everyone else can still hold down the fort. And, like, those guys have kind of done their time.
Yeah.
It's like
if I wonder how many castles, I'm sure people know, it might say it in the books, how many castles are manned, because in the show and in the main series, it's only 3 castles along the wall. And there's, like, 13, 20, some shit like that. I forget the exact number. It's a bunch. And only 3 are manned because they don't have enough people. But they're willing, upon request, can send 2,000 Night's Watchmen.
I think they said that. I'm pretty sure that's
or Northerners. I think that's a cool thing too. It feels like not only is the Night Watch stronger, but it feels like the Night's Watch isn't like cut off from the rest of the North.
Yeah.
It's not like it feels like the Night's Watch is like a division of the Northern Army type thing.
Well, that's the thing.
That are stationed
when
here.
it's not just
more like, I know it's not
getting sent up there.
It's still an oath and a special order. I'm just saying, like, it feels more cohesive. It feels like everybody in the North remembers, and it's they really remember. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, when it's not just like people that no one would care about getting sent up there.
Yeah.
Then I feel like it's a different vibe to it, but it's definitely was really interesting to see, and you're right, it feels like a lot fresher, and it's also interesting that he brings someone here, and they're like, you want to know what? I just see trees over there, but I'm going to completely take your word that you're defending against something real. And like when he's like, why would you think that our ancestors would build this wall for literally no, like, what,
you think it's just wildlands?
And like, it's, I feel like I like that because I think in Game of Thrones, even though we knew that there was White Walkers, the general attitude of like almost everyone in the entire country was just like, this is a waste of time. Fuck that. Like, even the people in the North were like, I mean, like, I guess it's a thing that we do. And like, but like a lot of them were just like, I literally do not care that there's the Night's Watch. It's just interesting because it's so used to like people going up there and being like, this doesn't matter. This is a waste of time and resources. And it's just interesting that like the prince comes up and is like,
well, I think it's more than just him respecting it. I wonder if there is, again, it's like an implicit thing that he, they're talking about how the dragons wouldn't go over, and then a Targaryen child shows up, and he is immediately struck not only by like the beauty of this, but like the terror of it. And I think it's more than just the way that it looks. I think that maybe the dragon blood in him is like, don't fucking go there, man. Like, I feel like there's a little bit of that too, where it's it's a little bit ethereal, the feeling that he's have. It's like an intrusive thought in a way, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like there's something, I mean, we know that there's White Walkers out there. They might be sleeping right now or just chilling, but he feels it, and they said that the dragons wouldn't like felt it, and I feel like there's a little bit more there than just the look. It's and I like that. I don't think that I'm weird in saying, like, I don't think I'm making that up. I feel like that's an intentional kind of feeling that you're supposed to get looking out there. But yeah, I just love this whole conversation. I liked this whole scene. It flowed really well. It felt like a classic Game of Thrones, like, well-written scene without feeling, and like very informative, very expository about like history and shit like that. And I learned shit. I didn't know that they did this thing where the Stark, one of every 10 Stark people, like, fucking draws straw. Maybe that's a gap in my knowledge in the lore. It probably is. But you know, that you could be a lord. You could be Lord Stark and then just draw the wrong rock and then probably go. I imagine there was some gerrymandering in there at some points in history, I would assume. But yeah, it's very interesting how, like, no matter what your fucking station is, you draw the rock, you are, you know, you take the black.
Yeah.
Was his rock black? Yeah.
Yeah.
He literally took the black. I wonder if that's where that, I mean, you take the black because it's, maybe that is where it comes from. I always thought it was just had more to do with the oath and that you're taking, like, the black cloak.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's it. He took the black rock, so he's taking the black. And was that him? Or is this somebody else?
I think that's just
a different person.
Yeah.
Because it looks like, is that a dragon?
2 wolves.
Oh, maybe probably 2 wolves. I think he's supposed to be like a lordling.
Yeah.
But I was unsure if this was the same guy.
Oh,
and it was just him when he was younger before. But I don't think judging by he's wearing like Stark shit, so he hasn't forsaken his house. So I think he just took him there.
Yeah.
He's not a part of the Night's Watch. But I was confused for a second. I thought that while he was describing the whole situation, that he was described like we were being shown how he became, you know, in the Night's Watch himself, despite the fact that he's a Stark. But that wouldn't make any fucking sense because why would he go there to talk to him to get men? Anyway, that was just my random confusion. But the person they were showing was just a disconnected person.
Yeah. But clearly supposed to be not like a peasant.
Not a peasant, yeah, exactly.
And that's showing it that, like, you know,
they mean what they say.
Yeah.
They mean what they say, yeah. And I guess that kind of covers the whole episode, I feel like. I liked the Rhaenys convo. That little conflict was interesting. Good way to start off. She's awesome character. And lastly, the intro was so damn good, man. The intro was so damn good. I'm gonna watch it again to get to like see who is represented, whether it's like Aegon's conquest or it looks like this is the Doom of Valyria, actually. So yeah, I think it does include more. I was just so, when we were watching it, I was just so like, whoa, this is new. I'm so excited. Wait, is that an axe? Is that the Field of Fire? I think it's supposed to be the Field of Fire. Or that's like Harrenhal. I think that's Harrenhal being burned. Yeah. Yeah, there's more than just our current people. There's way more going on here. Yeah, the new intro, I love it. I love it. It might be like just the creativity of it is so
and
like the
fact
concept.
That it's like the blood, and then it's like all the blood that is like being spilled
it's
is like
staining,
well, it's also like weaving the fate, and by weaving the fate, then it's telling the story, and it's also interesting. I don't know, like kind of to bring it back again of like the. You know, like tapestries and weavings, like tell stories and stuff like that. And then also we were talking earlier about how like the women are like a lot of a focus in this thing, and like women in like this time, like we saw like the queen just like sitting around embroidering shit because that's like all they did. But I guess it's kind of interesting to like take this like women's idol hobby and like turn it into like this is telling the story and like preserving the history just by like stitching in the fabric and like following the blood that is spilled and all of these crazy things that are done, and it's being like told into a story and made beautiful
in
by
like a women's medium. Yeah, that's actually interesting.
I just thought that was kind of a
even if that's not intentional, I feel like it is.
I feel like it works with
it works with
the story. And I feel like it's kind of a cool angle.
I agree. Yeah, this episode's so good. Great start to the season. A lot of things that I love. If I had to pick one thing I didn't like, it was how caricaturishly evil the guys were. They just were a bit over the top, but we'll see how it goes. It's the kind of thing that maybe needs to happen in the story. But that's my only like complaint. I feel like it was a little bit much at times, but they were also murdering a baby, so a bit much is kind of on the menu with that. So it is what it is.
And they have to be dumb enough to be able to do
that's the thing too.
It's they can't be actually smart, because if for the story to keep progressing, that event needs to happen, they have to be fucking stupid because no one would order them to do, like, no one would.
Yeah, and it was well set up with the rats, like we talked about. Anyway.
Yeah.
But a great episode. Incredible start. Can't wait to see where it goes. Very gonna be insane.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice that was Rhaenyra and Aegon.
Yeah.
With the green and the black.
And one of them's got birds, and the other's got dragons. I wonder what that's about. Maybe ravens. They're ravens. It's probably Hightower and it's probably Otto and Daemon. So like one of them's sending ravens, the other one's sending dragons. Yeah, cool.
Very
wow,
nice.
So good. Leave a like and subscribe. Subscribe so I'm bald. See you guys next time, Carson.
I'm Lindsay.